What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode review for Jujutsu Kaisen Season 3. This is episode 6, and with me, as always, I have Blue Spade.
Actually, scratch that. It was
Oh,
episode 7.
okay, yeah.
I
This
was that
is,
wrong.
this is
Yeah,
episode 7. With me, as always, I have Blue Spade.
yeah. Um, so we start off with Kenjaku. Apparently, he's getting people out of the area, out of the vicinity of where the culling game is taking place. Apparently, he's selecting people who know, you know, Yuji in particular. So yeah, so like everybody else, like we see like everybody outside the of that whatever it is, like that, that zone with that like
The
I
barrier.
don't know, like it's like that, yeah, that barrier sort of thing. And everybody's like wondering like what's going on, whether or not if it's a dream or not. But they
Yeah,
do recall
yeah. Well,
some.
so all of them apparently had a dream where Kinjaku came to them and like talked to them. Uh, and it's just it's so weird too because so the person he was talking to I think was Setsuko from season 1, who we haven't really seen since season 1. And he tells her to like, thanks for being friends with my son, which is just it's just so weird too, considering that Kenjaku like inhabited the body of technically of Yuji's, what was technically, I guess, Yuji's mother in a way. So yeah, like so it's just I can't get over how this weird that is. But
Yeah, and what was it? Yeah, so we pick up right after the last episode, in which Yuji and the others are trying to get oh, what was it, Hakari to assist them. And of course, at the same time, Panda informs them of Principal Yaga's death, and he already tells Yuji that he's not responsible for what happened with Yaga. Instead, like he was just executed over the consequences of what happened. But of course, it doesn't make Yuji feel any better of what happened.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, of course, Hikari agrees to assist them. And they basically come up with a plan of.
Here's the funny thing about how Hakari agrees to help is because Megami uses his position as the head of the Zenin clan, so Hakari can use it to his own benefit.
Mhm.
What's funny, of course, we know that Maki ended up annihilating the entire Zenin clan, so
Yeah,
obviously nobody knows what happened.
yeah. I like how there's, that it was kind of thrown in there almost as like a joke. So yeah, I mean, I guess
Yeah,
being the head of the Zanin clan is pretty much meaningless now. Well, I guess
yeah,
unless they like reform the Zanin clan or something, I don't know. But I
yeah,
thought it was funny how like this episode, I don't think we've seen this in any of the other episodes, but like there'll be random points where you see, I guess, the character's inner monologue pop up, like like at the beginning of the episode, and then at some points, and like when they were talking with Akari, like there was some, like, I guess, like the character's thoughts, like I guess Megami's thoughts coming up on screen, which
yeah.
is kind of weird.
Yeah. When he uses his position as the head of the Zenin clan at the time, uh, it just said straight up says like, might as well use this when I can, and
Yeah.
then yeah,
That's kind of the problem I've been
it's
having with season 3 so far, especially when it comes to the rules. Like, because it happens in this episode too, where there's like, if you're watching it subtitled, it's just like you pretty much have to pause at like multiple points just to read, because there'll be like a rule that comes up, and while this is happening, there'll be like characters talking or like monologuing, and it's just really annoying.
yeah, and once again they're once again trying to go over the rules, additional rules of the calling game again, and apparently about like allowing players to trade points and leave the calling game or something like that.
Well, and then there's like a
And
rule that now the players, what was it, like players can create new rules, so
eh,
which is pretty. I mean, it feels pretty exploitable to me. Like that. I mean, I feel like you could easily cheat the system that way. Just create like a rule
yeah,
to mess with the game and just break the whole
yeah,
game.
that's what we talked about at the end of the last episode, in which
Yeah.
like what one of the players just blatantly changed the rules out of nowhere, and now
I
it's
mean,
like not
yeah, the game's pretty much rigged in that sense already. Like players can just change the rules of the game like as it's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, so like so now uh Yuji and Megami are heading over to what was it? I think it was Tokyo Colony number 1 to
Yeah,
find someone named Higuruma. And then once they reach the barrier, they get asked whether they'll um, once they get into the barrier that they'll participate into the culling game, which they both accept. And once they get into the colony, they're immediately separated from each other at some random point across the city, and they both immediately get attacked by a couple sorcerers, participating in the culling game.
yeah. So Yuji basically gets attacked like midair by this. I forget what her name. This woman with like a some kind of like propeller or like a
Okay, so this woman like she can use her hair as kind of wings, and then she has like
yeah.
a jet engine on the back of her head, and then uh, after that, Yuji fights another guy with some kind of helicopter head. Um,
Yeah, it was funny
basically,
because like Yuji gets attacked by this woman and like thrown through a couple of buildings, and then like she tries to communicate with her boyfriend or husband or whoever that she'd found Yuji, and while she's doing this, like Yuji just like throws something at her and knocks her out of the sky, and I was kind of surprised at how easily she went down. But of course, then her lover comes after Yuji and chases him through buildings. And Yuji eventually figures out like his weak point is the propeller of the helicopter on his head. Uh,
well, basically he just punched really just the top of his
yeah,
head, like right in the middle of it.
yeah, like pretty
So
much just
like
breaks his knuckles, punches through it.
yeah, and then soon after, Yuji meets one of his old classmates, asking him where he can find Higuruma or something like that. And then at the same time, Megami encounters another sorceress
Yeah, well, and
named
apparently
Ren.
him and this sorceress like fought off screen, and I guess he ended up beating her. Um, and yeah, I think her name was Ren, something.
Yeah, and then he also asks her where Higuruma is, and then we both get like this, like separate conversations at the same time, and then both both respective, people like tell Yuji and Megami where Higuruma is at different locations.
Yeah,
Now,
so I guess one of
Meg-
them really isn't to be trusted.
or maybe both of them can't be trusted.
Yeah, I
Eh,
mean,
eh,
I think the immediate assumption would just be that Ren can't be trusted because like she'd been really acting really suspicious through like pretty much the whole episode. I mean, but then I guess you could question that what the kid's motive that other guy's motivations are too, as to.
yeah,
But yeah, yeah, that's pretty much where the episode ends. I mean, it is interesting that we kind of have to question like who is lying, or if they're both lying, or if one of them is, I guess, telling the truth.
yeah. I mean, it's hard to tell whether or not like either of them can be trusted. I mean,
Yeah.
it's possible Yuji's old classmate might I don't know, might be a little bit more forthcoming, but it's hard to tell because we don't know like what his reasonings for being in the culling game in the first place. Um, but yeah, it was a pretty decent episode. Well, decent follow up episode, but once again, it's like we're having to deal with the whole thing with them just twisting and bending the rules of the culling game for no reason.
Yeah. Well, I guess now at least we're properly like in the calling game because until this point they'd pretty much just been it more or less just been set up for it, and the calling game I guess the whole time has been happening. Um, so yeah, I think it's interesting that now we've finally gotten into it. Like at episode 7, we're finally in the calling game. Uh, but yeah, it was a good episode. I don't really have much else to say about it though. I don't know if you have anything else to say.
Yeah, it was like I said, it was a decent episode. But also, just some news that came out earlier today about um
Oh
the
yeah.
the Culling Game Part One director Gosso is leaving Studio Mappa.
Yeah.
Um, there,
So,
yeah,
I mean, this isn't
it
really
came,
like uncommon, I guess, in the anime industry. This kind of happens a lot with anime productions. Is like the directors will just leave of their own volition. That they didn't really get fired or anything. They just like they were. I guess they were contracted to do like I guess one part of a season or one season, and then they just leave to do something else. Because I think this already did happen with Jujutsu Kaisen and with in between season 1 and 2, and you can kind of tell because season 1 kind of has a different feel to it with the way it was directed and the general art style. Like it hasn't really shifted like dramatically or anything between seasons, but you could tell there's a little bit of a difference with the way it looks and the way it's directed. And I mean, like it's not like anything crazy. So like, I mean, I'm not really expecting anything to like drastically change. I would hope not, at least in between like, core 1 and core 2.
Yeah, it's like of course, I think the more noticeable thing in this part of the season is those little like box of text monologues that we keep seeing
Yeah.
at various points of the episodes, including like that whole wall of text about the rules of the calling game, which is pretty obvious. I mean, yeah, I think that might have been the reason why this season is a little bit different in comparison to the others because this is the only time that they actually did something so drastic by literally inserting like literally just like watching a manga coming to life, but you're actually seeing like the text boxes at various points of the episode.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, I thought that because I think I could be wrong. I think it's the same guy that did season 2 as well. So it definitely feels a lot like season 2 for the most part, and the way it's like directed. So I guess it'll be interesting to see like how whoever takes over after him handles it. But I don't know. I'm not expecting anything like too different. But yeah, guys. So that all being said, until next time, we will see you all later.